वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So we are reading from Canto 6, Chapter 18. Diti vows to kill King Indra. Text 1 to 8. So we'll recite this once. Shri Shuka Uvacha Prishnistu Patni Savituhu Savitrim Vyarhutim Traim Agnihotram Pashum Somam Chaturmasyam Mahamakhan. So I'll be just reading the translations till we reach the eighth verse. Sri Shukadeva Goswami said, Prishni, who was the wife of Savita, the fifth of the 12 sons of Aditi, gave birth to three daughters, Savitri, Vyaruti, and Trai, and a son named Agnihotra, Pashu, Soma, Chaturmasya, and five Mahajans. The dynasty is described. O king, Siddhi, who was the wife of Bhaga, the sixth son of Aditi. So Aditi is wife of Kashyapa, and their progeny from their sons, 12 Adityas, they have 12 sons, and their progeny is described. Named Mahima, Vibhu, and Prabhu, and one extremely beautiful daughter whose name was Ashi. And like that, further dynasty is described. And now we come to the text 8, which is the today's text that we are going to talk about. So, last son of Aditya and Kashyap is Lord Vamanadev. One of the 10 famous incarnations of Lord Krishna is Vamanadev. Keshavadhrita Vamana Rupa Jaya Jagadish Hare. We sing, right? So this is Dashavatar Stotra, where Lord Vamanadev was took or descended amongst the demigods, although retaining his position as Supreme Lord. उरुक्रमस्य देवस्य माया वामनरूपिणः कीर्तौपत्यां बृहच्छ्लोकस्तस्यासन् सौभगादयः. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. By his own potency, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has multifarious potencies, meaning many different varieties of potencies, appeared in the form of dwarf as Urukrama, the 12th son of Aditi, in the womb of his wife, whose name was Kirti. Vamanadev had a wife, Kirti, who is expansion of Lakshmi. Got one son, Shloka, and who had many sons headed by Subhaga. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. At 6.6, Ajopi sanam vyayatma bhutanam ishwaropi san prakrut swam abhishtaya vamyatma mayaya. Although I am unborn and my transcendental body deteriorates, and all Lord sentings, I still appear in every millennium in my original form. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead incarnates hidden energy, that is material energy, for he appears as he is by his own potency, that is internal spiritual energy. The spiritual potency is called Maya. Atvarabadani body godhead is called Maya. He is of external energy, which is also called Maya. This Maya refers so today we are going about the nature of Krishna and all his and his so Supreme Lord has three potencies: internal, external. Sanatan Goswami approaches Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he asks few questions regarding who am I, why am I in this material world, what am I supposed to do in this world, how do I asked Bhavan Goswami. There is one favorite anecdote. Prabhupada was so patient, the new audience um, who were not aware of Lord Chaitanya, who were aware of the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, was lecturing on Sanatan Shiksha, this very chapter that we are discussing today. And he lectured for around 15-20 days, one verse each. And after 50-20 days, one from the raised hand, and Prabhupada said, she says, and she asked the Prabhupada was about Lord only, explaining who is Lord Chaitanya. And after 50, and he was going into details of the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. And then she said, who is Lord Chaitanya? Can you guess what Prabhupada, how did Prabhupada respond to this? Did he get last 15 days or what? No, he did not say that. He said, oh, that's such an intelligent question. You're so intelligent to ask that question. and the and he again explained who Lord Chaitanya is, how how, how he is Krishna coming again in the Kali Yuga to explain further. Prabhupada is patient with all of us, also understanding, but if spiritual masters, they are all merciful and they respect our slogans also. And so Sanatan Goswami, he uh, he asked Lord Chaitanya that I do not even know uh, uh, how to ask right questions. So you So, in Jaiva Dharma, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, or is it Chaitanya Shiksha Amrita, I think, he mentions that any religion which says that God is eternal, soul is eternal, and our relationship is eternal is a bona fide religion. Any religion that teaches that God is eternal, eternal means transcendental, spiritual, we are eternal, and we have a eternal relationship. Any religion that talks about that these three principles is basically bona fide religion. The details may vary, but principles. Okay. Uh, Jaiva Dharma by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Jaiva Dharma is a novel written by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in which he describes many philosophical truths in a very simple language. And then the example is given सूर्यांश किरण जय छे अग्नि ज्वाला छे स्वाभाविक कृष्णेर तीन प्रकार शक्ति है just like um, sun and the sun rays or photons in in modern language or fire and fire sparks, they have a relationship, eternal relationship, the natural relationship with each other. Similarly, Krishna and us have a natural relationship with each other. कृष्णर स्वाभाविक तीन शक्ति परिणति चित शक्ति जीव शक्ति यार माया शक्ति. So Krishna has three energies: chit shakti, jiva shakti, and maya shakti. uh, and uh, translating in English, it will be like internal potency, marginal potency, and external potency. Internal potency is with which Krishna's name, form, pastime, abode, Vrindavan Dham, all of that is made up of his internal potency. Marginal potency is all of us, the minute, uh, particular existence that we have. Not particular existence, particle, minuscule existence that we have. That is all of us, called as marginal energy, and external energy with which this world is made up of: earth, water, fire, air, ether, or in modern terms, different elements from periodic table: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, whatever. So all of that is Krishna's external energy, and we are in between. We are marginal energy, and we always have a choice, uh, like an apprentice. We always have a choice whose apprenticeship we want. Do we want to work under spiritual energy, or do we want to work under material energy? So, based on which apprenticeship we choose, uh, we get a certain degree. So, if we choose spiritual energy, which is bhakti, uh, and by the way, both are Krishna's energy only. But if we choose spiritual energy, uh, our future is in spiritual world, in spiritual consciousness. Even while staying here, we can choose spiritual energy as our how to say, we are apprentice, and they are like our guide, we can say. So if and spiritual services which are full of bliss and eternity. And if we choose material energy, then we wander through, um, in this material world, in different species of life, one life after another life, after another life, after another life. Um, So Krishna is, sometimes they ask this question, that why did Krishna create, um or why did Krishna create this material world at all? What purpose does it serve? One time, Jadurani Mataji also asked Srila Prabhupada, why this, why did Krishna create this world? Is it not a good proposal just to have the spiritual world, and by default setting we are in spiritual world? Will that not be a better proposal? So why is this? What is the purpose of this material world? So Prabhupada gave an answer which is very uh, deeply philosophical yet very practical. So he said, what is the purpose of clouds? They they come, they appear in the sky, they do their job of nourishing the vegetation on the earth, and after releasing the water they disappear, right? So similar, this material world has a purpose of fulfilling our material desires. uh, and once we are done with them, then material world also help us in a way to reach uh, the original source. So in Bhagavad Gita, this material world is described as the reflection of spiritual existence. Just like we see a tree reflected inside the water. So the tree has real mangoes or real fruits, but the reflection has obviously the reflected fruits, which is also uh, has a similar form but not the same substance. So when I voluntarily choose not to be in association with God, then naturally uh, we can say, then naturally I need to have some identity. So I have some identity in the relationship with this world, or to be more specific, relationship with this body. And with this reflected identity, we can say, I try to enjoy the reflected fruit. And that is why no matter I try to enjoy in this world, the heart is always feel some kind of vacuum. That is what Krishna is trying to say in Bhagavad Gita. Yehi sansparshaja bhoga dukkha yona evate adyanta parthiv. This enjoyment that I am seeking in this world. All right, I need some support from this world. That is accepted. Like to maintain my body till I get the real spiritual awakening, I need to continue this body. So I need food, I need shelter, I need other things. So that is fine. But when I try to derive enjoyment from this as the only source, as the only purpose of life, then I'm bound to be frustrated. As famous Saint Tukaram Maharaj, he says in Marathi Abhanga, बोलाचीच कढी बोलाचाच भात खावनिया कोण तृप्त झाला. To roughly translate this in English, it would mean, if we eat imaginary rice and imaginary soup, no matter how much quantity we eat, we are going to remain dissatisfied. That's an analogy. We need to have real rice and real soup. Even it may be little, but that's going to uh, nourish me and satiate my hunger. So any little contact with God, any little contact with Krishna through a little service, is going to fulfill uh, that vacuum that I'm feeling in the heart. Um, because Krishna is unlimited, and the vacuum that we are experiencing because of not having Krishna is also unlimited. And that unlimited vacuum cannot be fulfilled with any limited thing of this world. Okay? Yovai bhuma saiva sukham, nalpe sukham asti. This, this means that only unlimited can satisfy you. Nothing limited can satisfy you, in other words. And here, Lord Chaitanya explains that this Krishna is unlimited. His potencies uh, are unlimited. His spiritual energy is unlimited. But the material forms uh, that are separated from Krishna, they are just limited and reflected. So, all right, so let's move ahead. Uh, so Krishna has three energies. We just discussed about that. कृष्ण भूलि से जीव अनादि बहिर्मुख अतएव माया तारे दे संसार दुख. This is described in even in Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. Uh, First of all, the jiva forgets his identity, which is called as avidya. So you can remember these five terms: avidya, asmita, raga, dvesh, abhinivesh. I will explain one by one. Avidya is forgetting that I am part of Krishna. I am servant of Krishna. So that is called as avidya. Then comes asmita, a false identity. Okay, forgetting true identity. Next stage is gaining a false identity. That means anything in the relationship with this temporary body or temporary mind is called as false identity. You can say temporary identity or false identity. Like if I say I am an Indian, I am I graduated from this institute, I have this degree, etc. I have these likings. All of these are temporary things. These only refer to the history of my current body. Okay. And it may change. And it's going to change. Not may change, it must change. But the identity in relationship with the soul is the eternal identity. So, anadi, avidya, because of the forgetfulness of my true identity, comes asmita. Asmita means false identity, which covers me, and I spend my life in a dreamy kind of situation. Asmita. Then comes rag and dvesh. Based on that false identity, whatever nourishes that false identity becomes my favorite. I become attached to that. That is called raga. And whatever challenges that identity, false identity, becomes the object of my hatred, which is called as dvesh. And because of that rag and dvesh, I continue being absorbed in this quagmire without any chance of reviving myself from it. Yeah. So petty little attachments and petty little hatreds continue my material existence in this world. Okay. So this is what is being explained here. And when by great fortune one comes in contact with spiritual teacher or spiritually enlightened devotees, saints, and we get access to the scripture that is coming from Krishna, then what happens? Sadhu Shastra Krupa Yadi Krishnon Mukha Haya Sei Jiva Nistare Maya Tahare Chadaya. Then by that divine grace, we become cognizant of who we really are, and this material illusory power slowly leaves her effect on us, and we slowly start realizing our spiritual realizing and reviving our spiritual nature, and then we become eternally happy uh, permanently. And the example is given. With that example, I am going to conclude, and then we will open for question. We'll be open for question and questions. So the example is given is that of Bhakti Pareshanubhavo Viraktir Annetra Chaisha Trika Eka Kala Prapadyamanasya Yathashnatasyu Tushti Pushti Kshudapayo Nughasam. The more we engage in devotional service, which is a connecting process to Krishna, the more we feel the presence of Krishna in our life. At least we may, in the practice stage, we may not see God, but we may see hand of God in our day-to-day life. With small things or big things in our life, we start seeing the hand of God in our life. And viraktiranyatra cha. Uh, Unwanted, inferior things, we start losing taste for it. And the example is given just like a hungry person starts eating separate endeavor required, automatically he feels satisfied and relieved of hunger and feel nourished. So similarly, when we engage in practice of devotion, simultaneously we feel satisfied. The vacuum is no longer there in the heart, and we feel repelled by inferior things, and slowly we start seeing the presence of Krishna in our life. So with that, we will conclude. And if anyone has any question, I will try my best to answer. Yes, bro. Hare Krishna.
It's a very nice class you have been explaining. Oh, actually, this avidya and both ignorance and knowledge is being eternal. But then the constitutional position of the soul is it is limited entity and the Lord is being unlimited. So due to this limited nature, it is constantly forgetting the Lord. Correct.
Yeah, due to limited nature, it is
Constantly forgetting the Lord.
constantly in forgetfulness. Yeah.
By engaging the devotional service, whether we will become unlimited so that we will revive the Lord eternally, or how.
Okay. Yeah.
So after I will quit my body,
Huh, huh.
so whether I will attain a position from where I will never fall down. So, so that devotional service will take to me. Whether that unlimitedness will happen, I'm asking.
Yes, yes, very nice question. Now, my nature is to be marginal. So, after performing devotional service in perfection, do I become unlimited? In one sense, yes. I will explain how. Uh, Krishna, first let me answer whether do we fall down after attaining perfection. The answer is no. Krishna guarantees that. He says in Bhagavad Gita, Yadgatvana nivartante Tadhama paramam mama. Once you reach spiritual abode, or to speak of reaching spiritual abode, even if we reach spiritual consciousness while being in the material world, when we revive our spiritual consciousness fully, that is as good as being in spiritual world. And from that position, nobody falls back. Nobody relapses from that position. So that answers your one question. Now another question: do we become unlimited? In one sense, yes. We develop the capacity to unlimitedly love Krishna. Okay, in that sense, we become unlimited.
And
uh, right now, also we have unlimitedness in terms of time. In terms of time, we are unlimited. Like we eternally existed, and we are going to eternally going to remain existent. Okay, potency wise, we are not unlimited, but time span wise, we are unlimited. Right? We existed before. We are existing now. If you see the timeline from negative infinity to positive infinity, we are existing, right? In that sense, our existence is unlimited in that sense. Okay. But not unlimited like that of Krishna. And when we perform devotional service, now Bhakti Devi's power is unlimited. We are in touch with her grace. And by her grace, we develop unlimited capacity to love Krishna. In that sense, one becomes unlimited. And in that sense, one becomes immune to illusory energy again. Okay, this point is mentioned by again Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Jayavadharma. Unlimitedness in terms of loving God unlimitedly. Okay, does that answer your question?
yes, Prabhu. But my question is that Prabhu, we are existing before also,
Okay,
and after we die also again we will take another lifetime.
yeah,
Yeah, but after attaining this perfection stage, whether this birth death cycle will come to a permanent end actually.
yeah. Well, one receives spiritual form.
Ah,
Like his existence is spiritual
ah,
already, but it is covered now. So once it is revived, it no longer becomes subjected to illusory energy again, because it is in touch with now he's under apprenticeship of spiritual energy, and it is spiritual energy which will protect him from uh, any possible fall down. Okay.
Hare
दैवी
Krishna.
एषा गुणमयी मम माया दुरत्यया मामेव ये प्रपद्यन्ते मायामेतां तरन्ति ते. So once taking shelter of spiritual energy completely, Mahatmanastu Mam Partha Daivim Prakriti Ashrita. Right now I am Bhautik Prakriti Ashrita. But when I become Daivim Prakriti Ashrita, by her grace I do not fall back to material existence. Okay.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Any other question? One, two, three questions. We'll take. Okay, yeah. We'll start with you. Yeah.
Yes, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji, for wonderful class. Prabhuji, my question is just we have some attachment like previously material attachment. Whatever we do, we get pleasure, and that experience goes inside.
Yeah.
So, how to remove that this
Yeah.
experience?
Actually, yeah. The experience of material happiness remains in our memory and remains as a sanskar impression on the mind, which drags us again to those pleasures. So, what to do? Krishna explains in second canto, 59th verse. He says that Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehina rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. He says only the bad habits cannot be forgotten, they could be replaced by good habits. So similarly, the the experiences of material happiness cannot be forgotten. They could only be replaced by spiritual happiness. So the more we engage in in hearing, chanting, celebrating Krishna's festival, and any devotion related activities, those create the new impressions on the on our heart, and which is called as higher taste. Only that can help us uh, overcome and rise above the lower tastes of the previous impressions. Could be rewritten. They could not be erased, they could be rewritten. Like that earlier CDs, they used to be rewritten, they could be rewritable, right? See. So It cannot be erased, it could be rewritten. And once it is rewritten, it is kind of erased. You see? So, so new impressions, new devotional positive impressions. That is the only solution Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. So that's all I can say about it. Hare Krishna. Yes, bro.
Thank you for a wonderful class. So my question is, you mentioned in between the class that for the fulfilling the material desire, this material world is created.
Hmm.
But we see that the material world is like a quagmire. We try to fulfill our desire, we get more and more desire.
Hmm.
So how to relate with like that point?
Uh, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions that it is not just to fulfill the desire, but to understand the insubstantialness of that. So once we understand, we try it. The highest intelligence is to hear and understand that it is insubstantial. But second level of intelligence is okay. Try it, and then you understand that it's not worth it. It's not. It's not what I was expecting. And once one is intelligent enough to understand that, naturally he will ask the question, okay, if this is not real, where do I find that real happiness? And that's what Sanatan Goswami is also asking. And that's how the wandering soul becomes inquisitive and start asking the right questions. And that is the beginning of the good fortune of the wandering soul, and which is in one line, which is described in Vedas as, his inquiry is described as Athato Brahma Jigyasa. First aphorism of Vedanta Sutra. Athato Brahma Atha Ataha Brahma Jigyasa. Atha means after trying out all material pleasures, at least now ask the right question. That what is it that real happiness, Brahma Jigyasa, unlimited, at least now inquire about unlimited. So that is how this material world is created to fulfill, in a sense, to give a chance to fulfill, and then understand that it's not worth it. And now ask about what can really fulfill our desire. Okay? Very well. Last question here by Prabhu, and then, yes, yourself.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and ask the dumb question in the room. What does a marginal particle, also known as a human being, how does one find devotional service? What is that path towards to bhakti for someone in the material world?
Okay. Uh, if I have understood your question, we are, as a marginal particle of God, how do we find devotional service? Yeah. The very next instruction by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami was about this. You won't believe, I will show you. It says, Maya Mugdha Jivera Nahi Swata Krishna Jnana, Jivera Krupay Kaila Krishna Veda Puran. So your question is very much in sequence to what we just discussed. And
It's a cliffhanger to
yeah,
the next chapter.
cliffhanger. Yeah. And Jiver Krupay Kaila Krishna Veda Puran. Being a marginal energy on our own, it's not possible to know everything about Krishna, everything about God and devotional service. But therefore, our relationship with Krishna being eternal and Krishna being ever merciful towards us, the very next line says, Shastra Guru Atma Rupe Apmanare Janan, Krishna Mora Prabhu Trata Jiver Hoy Jnan. So Krishna being very merciful, he creates opportunities through three ways, so that we become blessed with devotion to Krishna. We find devotion, and by devotion we find God. We find Krishna. So these are the three ways. Shastra, by his mercy we come in contact with God. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is Shastra. Guru, any spiritual practitioner whom we call Guru, in contact with, we can learn from him how to perform devotional service. And Atma Rupe, ultimately, the super soul within guides us to come to him.
How do you say it? Spell it?
Super soul,
Yeah.
SUPER, super soul,
The Sanskrit.
soul of the
The
souls.
Sanskrit.
Uh,
The Sanskrit form.
Sanskrit Paramatma. Paramatma is a form of Krishna which dwells inside everybody's heart. Okay, so in these three ways, one comes in contact, revives one contact with Krishna, or begins the process to approach him.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we will conclude here. Thank you, all of you, for patiently hearing. So please pray. I am just speaking. Please pray for me that so I also start applying what I just said. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki. श्रीमद कंसार श्रीमद भागवतम की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि ओम